when we're in Cape Town already. Yes.
And who were the service providers who were paid out of this 149,000 that was ultimately paid?
Those are different people. Like I said, you will have other people been traveling by bus. You will have people at Cape Town. They say, Tina, we want to eat this. Others will have to be given, or you have to buy from a restaurant. Others you buy in a bulk. It depends. The money had to be available that side and be controlled. But as to other service providers, it is only Khotli that is able to prepare who else did they pay the money to.
And are you able to account for that 149,000 as to where it went?
No, Khotli must do. I'm not the director of Khotli. They have to deal with that, and if the commission requests them to do so.
Okay, but your fiancé could account for that?
Yeah, those are entities. Maybe as I'm here, I may have another fiancé. It's not a thing that I can control her business.
You say you are not a director. Do you have any relationship whatsoever with this company?
Not company, the individual, the person.
So you have nothing to do with Khotli?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Do you get paid by Khotli?
No. I'm not getting paid. It's a business. She manages things. Where as a traveling agent, here and there she'll take a percentage. That's her thing. Yes.
You say it was never your intention that Matlala would meet with Mkhwanazi in paragraph 41. Can you just elaborate there?
Yes, indeed. One of the instructions from the handler was that both the handler and the coil, the handlers, Ket Matlala must never meet with Senzo Mkhwanazi. My responsibility would rather be to manage him or to say things that I know would never materialize. But it was a clear instruction that they should never meet. And indeed, they never met.
And did you know why there was that instruction?
The director, who comes from being a John Wick, who's now Ket Matlala, there was no way you could bring that person closer to the minister.
Sorry, there's no way?
You could bring that person close to the minister, Commissioner.
You say at the last minute you informed Matlala that the minister wouldn't be attending the ANC celebration, and you suggested as an alternative that General Sabir, Matlala and yourself should meet in Camps Bay.
Yes, that was a consolation. Remember, on the last minute when I informed him that the minister is not in the celebration, is not in Cape Town, he also decided that he's no more coming. But I couldn't just say, when you operate on somebody, you can't say the minister is not coming and you just close the conversation. You have to tell him, but I think because Sabir is also in Cape Town, you can come and let's meet with him.
What would the purpose of meeting with Sabir be?
There won't be any purpose, because I knew he wanted to meet the minister, was to make him realize that I tried something because the minister is not here.
But what interest would Mr. Matlala have in meeting with General Sabir? Why would that be an offer that would be attractive to him?
No, if there was no way, I couldn't say to him, come and meet comrades. You would want him to meet someone. Remember, if he has frustrations about his business, you would want him to meet someone. Remember, General Sabir is a Deputy National Commissioner. It's not like I'm saying come and meet like Maliki, or you give him someone who will make him realize that, oh, you mean business.
But if I understand your evidence correctly, Matlala said he'd already paid millions of rands to the National Commissioner for this contract.
That's correct.
So why did you think offering him a route to the Deputy National Commissioner would be of any value to him?
Commissioners, it's just that I don't wish that I should be operating a particular person like yourself. But what is happening is the moment you can't, there was no way I could say, hey, Kat, the minister is not coming, bye-bye. You would rather say, look, because the Deputy National Commissioner is here, I think you can come, we'll meet with him, but the minister is not here. So as to it adds value or it does not add value at the time, what was important is to pass the message for the man to make a decision whether he was coming or not. And I knew he would not come.
Why were you sure he would not come?
He wants the minister. He would have told me initially from the first place that I want Sibia, he said, I want Senzom Tunu.
All right. You mentioned that your prediction was correct. He decided not to travel to Cape Town. Can you take the commission through paragraph 42?
That Matlala in China, after receipt of this information and the alternative suggestion, decided, however, not to travel to Cape Town. He was increasingly adamant that he wanted to meet with Mkhunu, as he was not paid by the subs in terms of the tender contract awarded. Now, that's when I requested permission from my handler to facilitate a meeting between Matlala and the Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde, without the minister's blessing. And okay. Should I go to paragraph 43, Commissioner?
Please do, yeah.
My handler held the opinion that I should find a way to manage Matlala without attending to the minister's office, either to arrange an audience with Mchunu and or the Chief of Staff. He reiterated that I had to continue infiltrating Matlala network in order to identify all the role players within SAP's tender that was awarded to him.
So from your handler's perspective, they wanted to keep Matlala away from the minister's office entirely?
That's correct.
Can I just ask, I find that sentence very confusing. The handler wanted to keep Matlala away from the minister's office. That's the first part that you've just confirmed. And then it's the second part I don't understand. Did the handler encourage you or approve that you arrange an audience with the minister and the Chief of Staff, but just not attend the office of the minister? I don't understand what you're conveying in that sentence.
I requested permission from the handler.
Yes.
That I should rather, how about I arrange a meeting with Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde,
Yes.
but I won't let the minister knows that I arranged that meeting. Still, the handler refused.
So the handler, so what you're saying in paragraph 43, I'm at 43 now. Are you there saying the handler refused you arranging a meeting with the Chief of Staff and or Mkhunu? Is that what you're conveying in that
Yes,
sentence?
both of them. Yes, I must stay away from the minister's office.
When you say minister's office, you mean the people in that office?
Yes,
or
the
physical
minister
office?
and the Chief of Staff. The
Okay.
yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
So you say in paragraph 44 that you still had to manage Matlala's expectations.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Remember, he had problems with the non-payments. I then proceeded to say, but why don't I arrange a meeting for you with General Sibia and Nkabinde, or possibly the minister personally and himself. I said it to him.
So, although your handlers had said you can't let him get close, you can't let him meet the minister and or the chief of staff, you essentially offered that to him.
Yes. What is happening, it's like in this situation here, even if commissioners, I can tell someone now on the phone that come to the commission place and bring me food. He won't enter here. He won't get a chance to even, they'll demand identity, he won't enter the place. When I offer you something, it must be practically happening. There must be, for example, a message that I sent to Kate to say, come to this hotel, I'm with the minister. That's when I want the person to meet the minister, or I'm with the chief of staff. But when someone says, I need to be paid, I have a problem, man, come on, man, I need to meet the minister. You can't say no if you are an operative. You'll say, I'll find a way. I know that there is an NEC meeting or the minister is being called. Sometimes you listen to the media. Immediately when you hear, you type him a message, hey, the minister could be available. He's now going to Cape Town. There's a portfolio meeting. Even when the portfolio is visual, you will even say he went to Cape Town to that meeting. The issue is you must keep contact with your target.
But knowing all along that what you were promising him could never materialize.
It would never materialize, and it never materialized.
Can we then move to the top of page 12 and paragraph 45?
Yeah. During April 2025, the exact dates I cannot recall, I traveled to KwaZulu-Natal by car. I made a trip after Matlala indicated to me that he was going to meet with a person who would solve all his difficulties in KwaZulu-Natal, moreover in Durban. And that he said in 2 days' time. I traveled to KwaZulu-Natal, arriving the day before Matlala's intended arrival. And my source at the King Shaka International Airport, an Uber driver, kept observation on my behalf and informed me when Matlala arrived at the airport. The Uber driver relayed to me the registration number.
Just a minute. Do you not agree that this was an unwise choice of a source? An Uber driver could easily have gotten a call for a pickup and left the airport. How would the source be of use to you then?
Oh, thank you, Commissioner. I did not explain to that. Uber drivers and Bolt drivers, when you have a mission with him, the first thing he gives you a price that I may not move. I'm going to sit here until your target arrives. And he'll tell you, I'll make 2.5 a day. And for you to make it easy, you will say, okay, sharp, I'll give you that money. So he observed for me that day. He even ensured that he followed him to the car, the other Bolt, the Uber he was traveling with, and sent me the particular registration because I was waiting along the N2 on the road from the airport. Yes.
So is this Uber driver your informant or
Yes,
just a random Uber driver?
No, it's an informant.
And how would you have identified Mr. Matlala?
He knows Matlala. He knew him. Remember, you talk to a person, you will even send him a picture, but that time he knew him already.
You didn't send him a picture?
That time, no, he knew Kate Matlala. There was a time when I was in Durban, because as an agent, commissioners, you have a network. You see, for the intelligence service to function, I can say you can't run intelligence service without Brown, without an agent. Now you'll have, even people who are selling on small scale. Someone's knowing he's selling drugs, 100 rand, 700. You know him, you won't arrest him, you won't tell. He's your informant. He'll lie to you, he'll say, no, let's bank 2 million. But because it's your source, you won't tell your handler this man sells drugs. But he's selling on small scale, but he gives you information that can really turn out. The same applies to Uber drivers. Even in Cape Town, you go to especially Durban, Uber Tambo, Cape Town, you must have those people.
So the payment to this informant came not from your handler, but from you directly to him.
You must, now those are other things, remunerations of like your Uber and does not happen like with the informant. Remember what happens, you explain to him that how much is this, whatever, and he'll say, for a day I need 2,000 rand. Now, as I've alluded in my statement that informants cannot be paid by me, it doesn't necessarily say, when an informant say to me, I need 200 rand, your target, I must tell the handler, hey, the man wants 200 rand. When I have means, I'm able to give him. But I must inform my handler, the man is standby, this is what we are looking for. In case we go right, please arrange something for him.
Okay, but the payment to the Uber handler comes from crime intelligence funds because you're doing work for crime intelligence.
Yeah, but now it is now, you see, now it was only 2 days that time. The handler must find someone in KZN who must facilitate that because the Uber driver is from KZN. But that was only 2 days time, and we have only agreed upon 1,000 rand at the time, which I spoke to my handler and was able to give him something like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I just need clarity here. You are paying the Uber driver essentially to take the day off from Uber and to be your source?
Yes, and then something like that. But sometimes you become lucky, your target arrives 11 o'clock. Then it's sorted, you only give him, he can say, I give me 500.
But you're the one who's physically giving the money.
Yeah, you have to make arrangements. Either you give him cash or you arrange a shop ride. There must be something that you do for this person. Now remember, when it comes to other informants, when they get caught, he's able to say, look, on my phone, this man sent me mine. There must be always a way to exchange money with informants, depending on the scenario.
No, my concern is not with the method. I just want to clarify that you are the one paying in this case. It's not an ordinary case where you don't pay and the handler pays. You are the one who pays in this case.
Yeah, it's more like investment. Correctly, you are correct. It's more like you tell a handler, I'm going to give this man 1,000 or whatever, but as soon as the transaction or the mission has been completed, when you get remunerated, including the money you lost, you will be able to recover in some instances.
And
in
terms of paperwork there, does the handler ask any evidence from you? Or?
Yeah, the source, informant source, who's my link, well, there may not be a transaction between him and my handler. I will just inform my handler that this is and this and this I must do for me to reach to this destination with this person.
But do you not have to give your handler some proof so that he can go back to the crime intelligence audit people and account for what he's given you to give to the source?
Yeah, explanation. Look, depending on the situation, commissioners. Let me give an example. There is a Uber driver will tell you, I'm transporting drugs from Hillbrow to Mamelodi. Now, and then he tells you that they give me these drugs on Friday 9 o'clock. But when you check the value of the drugs, about 10,000 rand. The value of the drugs is about 10,000 rand. You talk to an informer and say, look, there is this thing about the Uber. You see now that one, because we'll even ask him who's delivering those drugs. Probably the one who's delivering the drugs has 50,000 rand worth of drugs or 100,000 worth of drugs. Now, this person will definitely be reimbursed by your handler. Now, it must be handled by him when it comes to that. But when you think about his coming, are you able to sit for me there to check when the person is coming and so forth? Obviously, we'll go to the screen at the airport and say Johannesburg, Johannesburg, Johannesburg to Cape Town or Johannesburg to Durban. Okay, there are 5 flights. If it's 9 o'clock and there is a flight, the next flight comes only at 2. He may leave the airport and come at 1:30. But it doesn't necessarily mean you will at all times say sit there, even if there are only 2 flights during the day.
Yeah, I'm just interested in paperwork.
Yes.
How does crime intelligence account for this money that will ultimately end up in the hands of the Uber driver, but on what you're saying has gone through your hands?
Yes, it's when I have arranged with him and I've given him this guy and I paid him out. And in my interaction with my handler, that's when we'll cover all these other things.
But what does the paperwork say?
Oh, he comes with the paper I sign. There's nothing that I keep. It will be in a duplicate form.
So you will sign something with your handler to be reimbursed for money that you've given the Uber driver?
Yes, but you see now, you cannot go to a handler and say 5,000. You cannot speak those amounts that are not realistic. Where there is a lot of money needed, he must know in advance. And it is not the informant who determines how much. It's not the informant, commissioners. It's my arrangement with the informant, and at that time, the information, you are certain that the man is going to land on Wednesday, and the information for the Uber driver is to sit there 2 to 3 or 4 hours, and then you agree with him. If you give him 500, you tell your handler, I've given him 500 rand. But for the work of this magnitude, not necessarily that I will want the refund if I have done that. Some of these things I afford them. What I want is to know the person that is going to help Kat do away with all these problems at that moment. Yes.
So you pay your informant, and you say you can claim it back from the handler when the mission is complete and has been achieved. The handler pays you whatever amount you say you paid the Uber driver. How does the handler know that to believe you that you paid the Uber driver 1,000 rands and not 500 rands?
Okay, maybe if you can speak in this case, where I gave that man 1,000 rand, I did not claim it. I just told I thought we were talking generally, how does this thing work? But in this case, I gave him 1,000 rand, and I did not claim it. I told my handler, and by the way, because the person I was following, it happened so differently. The Uber dropped him at the hotel. He was with his wife. They went into the hotel, and I waited and waited. They came in a white Mercedes-Benz, picked the man up, and I had to follow this Mercedes-Benz to this other place in Umhla.
Can I just ask you not to mention the address of the place, because we don't mention addresses for obvious reasons?
Yes, then I went to Umhlanga to check the place, and then I waited for some time because they were together inside the house, and I did not know whose house was that. It was just the White House. It's fine. Then I waited for them as they came out. And then we went back to the hotel. I also slept and went away. And that was in April this year. Commissioners, May, June, July, during the 6th of July, during the General Mkhwanazi's press conference, General Mkhwanazi did mention Matlala, Brown Mogotsi during his press statement. And it came out to everyone that on that day, Matlala was found with a cell phone in prison. And indeed, And he called me, very furious. He said, Brown, can I tell you something? You know, there was a time I told you that I went to look for someone who can solve my problem. And he said, and I said, yes, I remember. Because when I followed him, I didn't tell him that I was following him. And it became that I did not know who he met. They were driving the car, and it was something that was packed. And he said, I went to see General Mkhwanazi's house. And I also gave him something. He was talking about money. I gave him, I followed you. I did not know. Honestly speaking, I didn't see who that person was. But how he narrated everything about the day he was going to meet someone who was going to solve his problems, I remembered. And he said it was General Mkhwanazi that he went to see.
You say this was after Mr. Matlala's, after General Mkhwanazi's press conference of 6 July.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So Mr. Matlala was calling you from prison?
Yes, he did call me from prison, not once.
And which number did he call you on?
No, prison phones, yes, the one that even
That he uses in the chats?
Yes, everyone has that number.
And did he call you on, was he still using WhatsApp, or
Yeah,
was he
it's
calling
WhatsApp.
you
It was
landline?
WhatsApp, yeah.
Then in 48, you talk about some other calls from prison. Can you just briefly describe those?
Yes. He did call me, of course, from prison, but we were discussing like his strategy, how was he going to get bail, and what is happening, what is transpiring.